here we are with Apocalypse IPA and Apocalypse IPA Hop Burst. So there is that. All right, everybody, I'm Dylan DePriest, and I am back again with a beer review. So today I'm going to be doing something a little different. It's not going to be just one beer, but it's going to be a comparison between two beers. So today we're going to be doing 10 Barrels Apocalypse IPA. So we got two different, but it's the same beer, kind of. So I was recently just out to the store looking for beer, and I noticed they had no more Apocalypse. It's now a new style, which I'll get into shortly, and I couldn't find them anywhere. So I was able to find a place that had this older style of beer, and who knows if they'll go back to this graphic or how that'll go. But according to their website, they're kind of changing things up. And we'll start with Apocalypse IPA, right? This is the classic. This is what everybody knows. This is it right here. I'll let you take a look at that. And now normally I'm not a bottled beer guy, but this is what we got. And I don't know if any of you have ever watched Sanford and Son, but Fred Sanford had some wise words. He said, "I don't like bottled beer. Make me burp." Anyway, whether or not it makes me burp, I don't know, but it's what we got today. Beer is beer. So then we go forward to Apocalypse IPA Hop Burst. So I'll show you the graphic here. Get you a little look-see-loo at that. And so you can see, as far as these graphics, I mean, obviously that's a lot more colorful. The Apocalypse has always pretty much been black and white with kind of the trees and kind of like a ominous look to it. This is the classic look, and it always had that blue stripe on it, at least as long as I've been drinking it, right? So that's kind of the usual deal there. And so yeah, they're changing it up, and now most of their lineup is having these changes as well. So they're going to be going to whatever the original beer name is plus Hop Burst. And I could go into the finer details of it, but basically they're amping up the hops somehow in the brewing process. And anyway, you don't really seem to get a choice now. You really only get the newer version. So let's see. Is it really different, or is it the same, or is it better or worse? So with that being said, I typically like to drink a beer out of, the glass from that brand if I have it. I only have one 10-barrel glass. However, I do have this Ex Novo glass, and it is almost identical in the shape. So the aromatics should handle pretty much the same. So we'll take this Apocalypse here, and now let's pour out this beer. There you go. That's what we got. And you can see, not translucent, not a whole lot of head. Carbonation doesn't seem to be super aggressive. And I can feel that this is an ice cold beer. I threw them in the freezer for a little bit, get them down to that lower temperature than the fridge, and kind of excited about this. But anyway, so this is Apocalypse, or this is classic Apocalypse. You saw me pour that. So now, let's compare Apocalypse Hop Burst. There we go. And instantly, I see a difference. I mean, that's fairly translucent. I can see my fingers through there. I don't know if you can see my face, but that has definitely been clarified. Still not a lot of head. I'd say about the same level of aggressiveness with this carbonation. But yeah, I mean, I can see the whole world through this beer. Anyway, let's move on to the aromatics. So let's see. This is the original Apocalypse. So I kind of get some citrus notes. It smells almost like orange. If you're used to the smell of beer, and you just kind of smell it, it smells like orange almost. The aromatic isn't necessarily strong, but it's citrusy for sure. Not a whole ton of other notes. Not a complex aromatic. More of like a classic. Let's smell the Hop Burst. Similar. I don't know if it's more intense. Let me compare directly. It's definitely a little different. It's not the same. Very, very similar. This smells sweeter. The original Apocalypse smells sweeter. And as far as the stats go, 6.8%, 6.8%. It's the same on paper. Without further ado, I'm going to drink this Apocalypse IPA Classic. Cheers, everybody. So that's the Apocalypse I've grown to know over the years. It's definitely got the citrus flavor. It's bitter, and the bitterness definitely comes in after the fact, sort of like a grapefruit. I seem to be saying that over and over again with these pale ales, but and the IPAs, but it's kind of got that grapefruit bitterness. It seems a little bit sweet when you drink it, but not very sweet. It's I'd say like an aromatic sweet, and you kind of just you get a little bit in your nose as you're drinking it. That's kind of where the sweetness comes from. The carbonation is not very intense. It doesn't bubble in your throat as you're drinking it. You can see on the side of the glass, the head does stick around a little bit on this one, but it's not like some beers where the whole glass is just coated with the head. I'm gonna go in for another sip. Yeah, that's Apocalypse IPA. So I've never really had a whole lot to say about Apocalypse IPA. It's been around for a while. It's a classic Northwest IPA. I mean, at least here in Oregon. I don't know about you Washingtonians, but at least in Oregon, I've seen it everywhere. It's just always been a part of the rotation of pale ale and IPA beers, you know. And it's not particularly complex. Certainly more complex than a domestic lager, but it's not 1920 anymore. There's microbrews everywhere. You get more complex flavors. So this is a classic of the Northwest IPAs. And so with that being said, you get definitely that bitterness. You've got the alcohol content. It's definitely higher than most lagers and certainly most domestics. We're approaching the 7% territory, but there's really no bite. I say this beer handles a lot like a lower alcohol beer, because there are plenty of beers that are in this range, the high 6 range, and you really feel that bite of the alcohol. This one doesn't. I mean, I'd say this thing drinks more like something in the mid 5s, kind of an average of, flavors, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, with that being said, we're going to move on to Apocalypse Hop Burst. Is it different? Certainly looks different. Is it better? I kind of hope. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like after seeing this, you know, are we giving up a classic? Is it going off the shelves, and are they going to this permanently? So let's see. Anyway, cheers, everybody. That's interesting, because when I drank this HOPBURST at first, I had this before. Got it like a week ago. And the difference between the two is very subtle. If I were to drink a HOPBURST right now, I don't really think I would be able to tell the difference. I'm sorry, if I were to drink a HOPBURST like randomly right now, just like a random night on the way home, and you told me this was Apocalypse, and you didn't tell me it was HOPBURST, I should clarify that. I don't know if I would be able to tell the difference. Side by side, I can tell the difference. But if I were to describe it in words to you, it'd be the same words. I mean, the carbonation handles a little bit differently, but that could just be the difference between batches. I mean, you know, this is a brewed beverage. This washes, like, as you're drinking it, it feels a little smoother. I'd say the carbonation is, like I said, it's a little less intense. I mean, I think the intensity is probably the same. I think it's the way that the actual beverage washes down. The flavor notes are, you know, again, it's the same thing. It's the same beer. It's just not. But no, I mean, it's not bad. It's not the same. But if they just hadn't told me that they had a new beer, I probably wouldn't have noticed. Unless I did a video like this. This Apocalypse, the classic Apocalypse, I think it has more flavor. I think the aromatics, the orange, that flavor you get when you drink it, I think it sticks around a little bit better. This lacks flavor, but with that being said, I put them side by side, and HOPBURST has less flavor. The bitterness is still there. The bitterness was always there. It's a bitter beer. I don't know. I was kind of taken aback a little bit by the result on this. I thought that the HOPBURST, based on the graphics and with the description that they have online, I thought that the flavors were going to be more intense. I would say it's the opposite. With that being said, I mean, I kind of hope they don't take away the old Apocalypse, but it looks like they are. So yeah, I again, kind of disappointed. I kind of really want to see the old Apocalypse stick around, and I hope that's not the case with their other beers. You know, getting clarified and kind of losing that more natural brewed beverage taste. I don't know, maybe it's not natural, but it's that cloudiness is kind of what I've gotten accustomed to with a lot of these beers. Not every single one, but with this beer in particular. And yeah, I don't know. With that being said, I just want to say thanks for watching. And if you have any recommendations for beer that I should check out, please put it in the comments. If you tried this beer, if you tried Apocalypse and you tried Apocalypse HOPBURST and you have a different opinion, please, scratch my eye there, please put it in the comments down below. I really would like to hear from you about that, and of course I would really appreciate it if you'd subscribe, like, share my videos, and you know what, just have a good time, enjoy yourselves. Please drink responsibly. Although I'm not a company, so I don't really know if I need to say that. But please do. We don't want any bad times here. All right. And I want to just say, everybody, have a good one. Have a Merry Christmas. We're still a couple weeks out. But thank you again. This is Dylan DePriest signing off. Have a good one.
I don't like bottled beer. Got too much gas. Make me burp.
Have something else, Pop.
I don't like bottled beer. Make me burp.